Make sure that all those people who are coming into Western countries fleeing the sorts of violence and terrorism and barbarism that is represented by ISIS, make sure you send the message to all of those people that you think this is their fault.
Oh, all? Oh, did I hear the word all? Oh, all again. Right. So the 3-year-old refugee, I'm blaming her. Yeah, because all. No, Steve, the refugees have sickening, barbaric fucks among them. Rapists. Do you want to go over the rape stats of the refugees? Come live with me in Germany and see what it feels like to have 2 million Muslims march into your country. It ain't a pretty picture, Steve. You watch the crime stats of Germany. You go talk to the Danish people, or the Swedish people, or the Dutch people, or the French people. Talk to the Spanish. Talk to the Spanish hundreds of years ago. They'll tell you about Muslims. Oh, yeah. Oh, they will. Steve, there are some horrible, sickening people among the refugee population. What do you expect? They are marching directly out of this hellhole of Islamic fundamentalism. What are you expecting them to be? Fucking Playboy bunnies? God damn it. Oh, it's very easy, Steve, for you to say this from your lower class apartment in some shit town in America. Come to Germany and start talking about, oh, let's just love the refugees. So the little kid refugees who are going to grow up and become terrorists, who are making throat-slitting gestures at the camera. One of those refugees just took part in this terrorist attack. Oh, what a coincidence. Oh my God, nobody saw that coming. Pegida couldn't have predicted that. Tommy Robinson is lying on the floor in a coma of shock.
Because I guarantee you nothing will help to bring about the next generation of terrorism. Nothing will help to fuel the resentment and rage and anger that will create the next version of ISIS than you doing that.
Do you guys hear his mindset? He's worried about, oh no, we gotta appease, we gotta make them feel happy. The potential terrorists, don't make them mad. We're worried about them. Are they gonna be upset by our actions? If we fight back, will they be mad at us? Steve, this is why you're a pussy. This is why everybody on the internet fucking thinks you're a joke. How about this? Just for a split second, pretend you have a twig and berries. Now listen to me. We're gonna take control of the situation and fucking kill ISIS. Wipe them out. And guess what? They need to be worried about how I feel. They need to be worried about how the Western world feels, about how America feels, about how American military feels. They need to be worried about if we're angry. Why are we angry? Because they're barbarians. Killing, spreading terror, and wreaking havoc. Oh, not all, Steve. Oh, not all. But many. And that's who I'm talking about. So they need to worry about us. This is called a fight. This is called a war. This is called one tribe of people acting a fool, getting cray-cray, and coming in to try to bash skulls. And it's the other tribe's job to say, nah, G. That ain't going down. You feel me? Just tap into your inner Tupac for a split second here, Steve.
Blame the refugees for this.
Fucking blame the... Why is he so cartoonish with these arguments? First of all, one of the people we already know was a refugee. Secondarily, we blame the people who did the attack. Ta-da! It's over. The blame game is over. We know who did it. It's ISIS. We killed the people involved. Done. We know who to target, Steve. So your straw manning is fucking ridiculous.
Muslims in general.
Oh, the Nahal Brigade. Oh my God, it's the Nahal. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. I'm physically and emotionally exhausted.
Blame Muslims in general for this. When moderate Muslims, when modernists in the Muslim faith denounce these terrorist attacks, make sure that you don't accept that. Make sure that that's not good enough for you. Make sure you send the message that you consider Islam and Muslims to be your enemy to such an extent that even those who renounce acts of violence and terrorism are not good enough for you.
Oh, you know what, Steve? When they do that, I stand up and applaud, and a tear rolls from my eye. How brave and noble it is for a moderate Muslim to denounce cold-blooded murder of innocent people. Oh, that is an amazing achievement. If only we could be as enlightened as the moderate Muslims who are willing to take such a sophisticated moral stance on such a complex issue. Holy shit, your expectations are low. Fuck you, Steve Shives, yet again. Of course it's not good enough. They're not the issue, Steve. The issue is the radical Muslims. It's not the fact that some fucking imam is going to step up and say, I disapprove of cold-blooded murder. Well, it's like, thank you, Mr. Muslim. Thank you. You're not the problem then. Well, you still are a problem for other reasons, but on a spectrum. Yeah, so once you get back to believing in fictional deities, being misogynistic to women, oh, that's one of your issues, isn't it, Steve? Being anti-freedom and being pro-Sharia. Yeah, you're still a fucking problem, bro. Just because you're not a murderer. Good God, I can keep these two things in mind.
That you accept nothing short of them renouncing their entire faith.
Yeah, yes, Steve. I accept nothing short of that. That's what being an anti-theist is. And yes, I'm aware that some Muslims are not a threat to my life or civilization in the same way that others are. Oh, if you care about gay rights and women's rights and the freedom of speech, or freedom in general, or if you perchance happen to want to build a society that thrives and is successful and where the people are happy, then you should be against all of Islam, period. But yeah, I know who the immediate threats are, and it's the jihadists, and there are hundreds of millions of them.
And their entire culture. And anything short of that is just, they might as well be siding with the terrorists. Make sure you send that message. And I'm speaking especially to my fellow atheists on this, who have taken these tragic attacks, these horrible acts of violence as an excuse to attack not terrorism, not extremism, not the various actions or the various forms of Western foreign policy that have helped to create the scenarios that have birthed these violent extremists, but to just blame Islam in general for it.
Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Steve, you're just dumb. It's just so elementary what you're trying to do. It's so stupid, Steve. Islam is a fucking disgrace from top to bottom, but we're not blaming the French attack on just every Muslim person on an equal level. God damn it. Do you have any ability for advanced thought? Or do you just think in these like broad general terms? And I love how he throws in, oh, it's us. It's America's foreign policy that has created a 1,400-year-old death cult that has been doing the same stuff throughout all of history. This is not a new phenomenon.
If that's what you want, if you want to help create the next generation of religious terrorism and religious violence, then make sure you do all those things.
What?
If you want to do your part to prevent that sort of thing from happening, if you want to do your part to minimize the anger and the resentment that fuels the next generation of ISIS, then reach out to people. Make it clear if you happen to know any Syrian refugees, if you happen to be nearby any refugee communities or any Muslim communities that you think are being unfairly targeted, you think are being unfairly blamed or vilified in the wake of this incident, make sure you speak up for them, not against them.
Holy shit! I mean, talk about Muslim apologetics. The man is literally saying defend Muslims. Steve, we're not worried about the Muslims who are not attacking us in anywhere near the same way as we are about the ones who are attacking us. So why don't you, Steve, try to address Boko Haram, al-Nusra, al-Shabaab, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, the lone wolves of the world, global jihad. That is where the fucking focus should be, Steve, not on your cherry-picked, innocent, just, I'm a refugee Muslim, I'm one of the good Muslims, protect me. That's not the friggin' narrative, Steve. Nobody cares. Steve, we're addressing problems. You're inventing problems. We are addressing problems. What an outlandishly weak human being this is.